Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the State of the Escritoire. We've got a new unboxing coming up. Whoa, what happened over there? Looks like our little octopus fell back. Now he's better. So stay tuned for that unboxing. But first, what else has been going on recently? All right, first up, what do we got here? An Inio from Pelican. That's got to go back to the channel sponsor. Thank you for that one. If you missed it, this is a great little pen for the price. I expected this to be much more than it cost. So I actually might get some of these as gifts come the holidays too. I have a Mag 600 I inked up this month. I used the blue-green snake here from Colorverse, and that was very nice. I enjoyed this pairing. Okay. Over here, we have my pretty much favorite letter writer from Fourth Kind Pens, Kevin Zog Resin. This one actually glows in the dark. And it has a custom 1.5 italic grind. Super sharp, and I use this for letter writing. What was in my pocket today? In my pocket today, I was carrying the Big Idea Designs titanium fountain pen with a Damascus clip. Oh, this is cool. So I went to the flea market recently and I found a ivory letter opener, a thing of the past. That's just really cool to add to the Escritoire here, and I'll definitely use it to open a letter or two along the way. All right, now let's get to the goods. Da, 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 da. I have wanted one of these pens for quite a while, but I never could find the right one. So I waited until there was a drop where I could actually acquire one that I actually wanted. So we are looking at a Herman EPIKA. And to open this, we are using a Heretic Knives Cleric 2, their nicer edition with the carbon fiber and the blue anodized hardware. I love that ball on the clip. It makes things so smooth in and out of pocket. Magna Cut blade. Let's open her up. Herman is a company that's been making very nice knives for quite a while, and they recently got into the pen game. If you're curious, you can actually go on YouTube, and there's a whole like 20-minute video of how they made these and kind of the pains they went through. It was a really good watch while I was waiting for this thing in the mail. Let's dive in. Oh, looks like I opened it upside down, maybe? Yeah. Cool, you can see that. Let's get that out of the way. Nice box. Very nice box, actually. And here we go. Proudly made in Poland. You can't see, let me see if I can zoom out. Yeah, up here, there's a card that you can take out. Oh, it's metal too. That's cool. And this is your certificate of authenticity. That's a very cool keepsake. You've got this thick padding with the outline of their pen here. Cool. We got an extra refill. This takes the Fisher Space Pen manufactured for Herman knives. That's cool. And here we have the beauty itself. Look at this. This is anodized. It's all titanium. Kind of cool blue outline, bluish purple outline in between each hammer point. So this is a hammered finish, hammered clip. This body is one solid piece of titanium, and then this mechanism and the top are separate. So let's give this a click. That's satisfying. And you saw this little clip moved position because I think if I go this way, yeah, you couldn't see it on camera there. Sorry, I'll do it again. So the clip moves because then you move the clip to pop it back out. That's cool. All right, so right off the bat, this thing is very small because it takes the Fisher refill. This is among my smallest pens, actually. What's interesting here is I love the whole mechanism. However, I found it's a little bit more difficult to just use your thumb and push this over, as it were if I were using my smooth precision pens, of which I've got 2. Check out that top 2, custom made just for this pen. Anyway, so this is way smoother, and when I come up, right, if this is engaged and then I come up, I can really easily like flick that with just a thumb. With the EPIKA here, it's not quite, you can do it, but look how far it rides up into my hand because it's so small. And now I've got very little to actually grasp on down here, and which gives me less leverage up here. So it's a mix of it being small with the mechanism, but it's less just thumb friendly for that. You can do it, but again, it's kind of, I'm putting a lot of effort into that comparatively. But it is better if you use your index finger. So when you're using this, you come around and you grab it with your index finger. You almost pinch with both of these and twist much easier.
3 days later.
I've had a couple days to play around with it, and I found the best way that works for me is after I go ahead, deploy it, engage it, and use it, I come up like this and I rest the top part. This here is a fixed component. It doesn't spin like this part. So I come up, I rest here, and that gives me something to torque against, so I can just use the thumb. And that's how I've been doing it, and I still have control of it down here, so I'm not writing on myself like I was when I was trying to pinch like this, because I have to bring it up further. So that's what I'm doing after some experience with this.
Are you telling me you built a time machine?
I can tell that I'm going to love this clip because it is really bouncy, and that's going to go in and out of pocket. You can even see it hovers slightly off the body there. And add to that, it's nice and springy. So this clip is really going to be good, and that's awesome because that is on the mechanism. Now in contrast, over here, right, this clip is on the mechanism, and this clip is much stiffer. It's a thicker clip. It goes way down in there. Just look at that, guys. It's beautiful. Each little hammered mark in there on the clip with the anodization. This is a gorgeous pen. You got your Herman brand logo up there. All right, we're going under the hood. Let's get our area ready. Okay, so that is one solid piece there. And without spring pressure pushing back over here, you can just pop that down easy. And we have the spring and a blue fine refill. And it looks like it takes the extension, which means I think this might be able to go on with regular Parkers too. Let me check. Yep, that looks like that can take a regular Parker style refill too, which is good because I prefer Parkers over these Fisher Space Pen refills. The Fisher refill is fine, you know, especially if you're trying to write underwater or in outer space. However, I don't find myself in those positions too often, and I can use a more comfortable flowing Monteverde ceramic gel here. I like the P42s, and I usually get blue, black, or green. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead and put our spring on. I wonder what their spring's made of. See, it doesn't seem like any sort of specialty metal, but who knows. Okay, let's see. Always be careful when you're threading these things with the caps on the mechanism because you don't want to mar up the body. So it's nice that this hovers off. So I usually just kind of monitor it while you're putting it on. There we go. Ah, brilliant. All right, so it does fit a Parker refill. This is tiny, tiny. Man. Hold on a sec. I want to see how tiny it is. Size comparison. All right, here's our new Herman EPIKA. And I'm going to go ahead and activate it. And I'm going to put it all the way up against this side. So that way we have a firm beginning measurement point. All right, next we're going to look at an Otmog clipped 40. And again, that's activated. It's right about the same size. The EPIKA is a hair longer, just barely. Next, let's go ahead and look at a tactile turn, Deep Space. I had 3 of these. This is the only one I kept, the mini, because I found I used it more because it was so small. So let's see how that goes. All right. So you can see the Mini is a little bit smaller than both the Epica and the Automog. Next up, you've heard me say it, but everybody loves a soul, especially a Fenja Damasteel soul. Very difficult to come by. You can actually notice my wedding ring there in the background is also Damascus. I love Damascus steel. And I got a Gen 2 mechanism for this one. But I digress. Let's take a look at how it stacks up. As I've said, everybody loves the Soul because this is like one of the OG pens. Like I feel like the Saga and the Soul are like OG to this community. So anybody who does a size comparison, I feel like that's a safe comparison to make. I don't have a Saga in the collection, but I will always have the Soul. You can definitely see the Soul is the biggest out of all of these by good virtue in girth and length. But the Epica is very similar to the Automog, a little bit girthier. That's a 40, by the way, for the Automog. And it's definitely girthier and just a little tad bit longer than the Tactile Turn. All right, back into it. So one thing I noticed was, look how smoothly this sits. When you activate this, look how smoothly that button sits flush against the actual body there. That is not something, let me see if I can get closer. Yeah, look how smooth it is. You really can't even, you can barely feel it with your finger. And that, in contrast to, you know, other click mechanisms, is very much more refined. Right here's the Tactile Turn. Nothing sits as flush and as well manicured, I guess I would say, as this one. And I've had NTIs and, you know, Swift Clicks and other things too. But I just want to note that is a gorgeous thing that they did there. Good job, guys. Let's do a writing test. One more close up before we get the writing sample. Just gorgeous. All right, here we go. The Herman EPIKA. I really like this mechanism so far. It's definitely very refined, very crisp, and I'm very happy to have a Herman EPIKA in my collection. Take care, everybody, and as always, may your journey lead to your own personal serenity. Today I found mine.